happiness is something everyone is chasing. Some through success, some through relationships, some through material comforts, and some through achievements. But if happiness truly depended on these external things, then the moment we got them, our happiness would remain permanent. Yet that's not what happens. We achieve something. We feel happy for a day or two, and then life brings another demand, another expectation, another desire. So what's missing? There is one thing, just one, that needs to be in place before anything else can bring us real joy, inner alignment, when our mind, values, choices, and actions are in harmony. Even simple things make us happy. When they are not, even the biggest successes feel empty. We try to decorate our life from the outside: bigger home, better phone, more money, more status. But imagine decorating a room that has a broken foundation. The paint might look fresh. The furniture might be expensive, but the cracks will eventually show. The same happens with our life. Without inner alignment, peace, clarity, purpose, and emotional steadiness, no achievement can give lasting satisfaction. Sometimes we expect people to make us happy, but even that becomes difficult when we ourselves are internally unsettled. When we carry unresolved emotions, unhealed wounds, unrealistic expectations, or constant restlessness, even the best relationships cannot fill the inner gaps. The happiness is not about controlling circumstances. It's about aligning ourselves with our deeper truth. The world teaches us to chase things, but life teaches us that happiness is a result of alignment, not achievement. You may sit in a luxurious car, but if your mind is full of turmoil, the drive will feel suffocating. You may live in a comfortable home, but if your heart is filled with bitterness, even the soft bed will feel rough. But when your inner world is sorted, something magical happens. You start appreciating little things. You stop overthinking every situation. You let go of unnecessary comparisons. You give yourself permission to breathe. You realize happiness is not something you find, it's something you feel when you are inwardly balanced. And once that happens, even life's challenges don't shake you as easily. You become calm, composed, and grounded. The idea that happiness cannot come from external achievements alone, but must begin with inner alignment, is something many of us recognize only after years of chasing things in the outside world. We grow up believing that if we achieve more, earn more, or gain more, we will automatically become happy. But the truth is far more subtle. External success does create moments of pleasure, but these moments are temporary, like sparks that glow brightly for a second and then fade away. Lasting happiness, the kind that stays with us even when circumstances fluctuate, comes only when our inner world is steady, clear, and aligned. Inner alignment means our thoughts, emotions, values, and actions move in the same direction. When this happens, we feel a natural sense of balance that no amount of wealth or success can replicate. But when we are internally scattered, thinking one thing, doing another, wanting something else, life feels stressful, even if everything around us appears perfect. Imagine someone who earns a lot but constantly doubts themselves, or someone who has a loving family but carries unresolved fears. Their external blessings cannot convert into happiness because the inner system is not ready to receive it. External achievements often act like mirrors that reflect the condition of our inner world. If we are peaceful on the inside, even a small achievement feels beautiful. But if we are internally chaotic, even the greatest milestone feels insufficient. How many times have we reached a goal only to feel, after a short celebration, that it wasn't enough, that we must now chase the next one? This endless cycle happens because the root of happiness was never inside the achievement. It was supposed to be inside us. Inner alignment gives us the emotional stability to enjoy what we have without constantly comparing, competing, or doubting. When the mind is calm, gratitude naturally arises. When the heart is centered, contentment grows. And when our values and actions match, we experience a rare sense of integrity. That integrity is a powerful source of happiness because it means we are not pretending, not divided within ourselves, and not living according to someone else's expectations. We feel whole. External achievements often depend on circumstances, opportunities, resources, the support of others, the timing of events. But inner alignment depends on choices, our daily habits, our emotional awareness, our willingness to reflect and grow. And because choices are in our control, the happiness that comes from inner alignment is more stable, less fragile, and far more reliable. When we rely only on external things for happiness, we become vulnerable. If the relationship changes, the job ends, the money fluctuates, or the praise stops, our happiness collapses. But when happiness begins from within, the outer changes lose their power to shake us. Success becomes enjoyable but not essential. Relationships become beautiful but not desperate. Comforts become pleasant but not addictive. Inner alignment helps us respond wisely rather than react impulsively. It gives us the patience to handle challenges and the sensitivity to appreciate blessings. It builds a foundation so strong that even difficulties cannot break us. And because our happiness no longer depends on what we get, but on who we are becoming, life feels lighter, richer, and more meaningful. In the end, the world can give us moments of pleasure, but only inner alignment can give us a lasting sense of joy. External achievements decorate our life, but inner alignment strengthens its core. Without that alignment, the most successful life can still feel empty. With it, even a simple life can feel deeply fulfilling. When our thoughts, values, and actions are in harmony, something very powerful happens inside us. Life begins to feel lighter, clearer, and more joyful, even in the smallest moments. This alignment creates a quiet inner rhythm, a sense of balance that does not depend on outward circumstances. It's not about everything being perfect outside, it's about everything feeling settled inside. When the mind is not fighting the heart, and the heart is not opposing our actions, we naturally experience peace. And from that peace, happiness rises effortlessly. Most of the stress we feel in life comes from internal conflicts. We may believe one thing but do something else, or we may value something deeply but allow fear, pressure, or society to push us in another direction. This inner contradiction tears us from within. Even if we achieve success, it feels incomplete because the cost was our inner truth. But when we live in alignment, even tough decisions feel lighter because we know we stayed true to ourselves. Small things start bringing joy, not because those things changed, but because we changed on the inside. A simple conversation, a quiet moment of rest, a walk in nature, a cup of tea, these become meaningful when the mind is not swirling with guilt, confusion, or conflict. When the heart is free from contradictions, it has the capacity to appreciate the small, beautiful details of life that we normally overlook. Imagine living a life where you no longer feel the constant need to impress others, where you are not drained by overthinking, and where your choices are guided not by fear, but by clarity. That kind of inner alignment turns ordinary days into peaceful experiences. It reduces inner noise and amplifies inner satisfaction. You begin to feel grateful more often. Because gratitude naturally flows when the heart is not burdened. Another beautiful effect of alignment is emotional resilience. When your inner world is synchronized, setbacks do not break you easily. You may feel pain, but you understand it instead of drowning in it. You may feel disappointed, but you recover faster because your mind and heart work together to support the healing. This inner strength allows you to face challenges with patience instead of panic. Alignment also brings authenticity. You begin to act from a place of honesty rather than comparison. You stop copying others because you finally listen to your own voice. You stop chasing things that do not matter because you identify what truly matters. You stop seeking validation because your actions reflect your own truth, not someone else's expectation. And authenticity always leads to inner happiness because it frees you from the exhausting burden of pretending. When thoughts, values, and actions align, relationships improve as well. You communicate better, listen more patiently, and love more genuinely. There is no hidden frustration or suppressed emotion weighing down your interactions. You offer a version of yourself that is whole, grounded, and present. And naturally, people feel safer and more connected around you. This alignment creates a steady flow of inner energy. It becomes easier to work, easier to focus, easier to rest, and easier to enjoy life. You no longer depend on big achievements to feel good. You feel good because you are internally balanced. That balance becomes the root of consistent happiness. In truth, happiness becomes a natural byproduct when the inner system is in harmony. It does not have to be forced or searched for. It simply arises because there is no conflict left within us. When thoughts, values, and actions walk in the same direction, life becomes peaceful, purposeful, and beautifully joyful, even in the smallest moments. Decorating the outside of our life while ignoring the inside is one of the most common mistakes people make. We often focus so much on creating a picture, perfect outer world, that we forget the inner foundation supporting it. A beautifully decorated room with a cracked foundation may look attractive at first, but eventually the cracks begin to show. The same happens with us. We might wear the best clothes, buy the latest phone, drive a nice car, and build a strong social image. But if our inner world is filled with unresolved emotions, confusion, or emptiness, that external beauty cannot hide the inner instability for long. Many people invest years in building careers, earning money, and gaining respect, thinking these things alone will give them lasting happiness. But even after achieving all these milestones, they often feel a strange hollowness. They wonder why the success doesn't feel as satisfying as they imagined. This happens because the true foundation of happiness is internal balance, not external decoration. Without emotional clarity, mental peace, and inner strength, every external achievement feels incomplete. It's like climbing a mountain only to realize you carried all your inner chaos with you. You reached the top, but the view doesn't feel enjoyable. When we decorate the outside without nurturing the inside, we start relying too heavily on appearances. We try to project confidence while feeling insecure, show happiness while feeling lonely, or pretend to be strong while feeling fragile. This gap between who we are and who we try to appear becomes emotionally exhausting. Keeping up appearances becomes a burden, and slowly we realize that external decoration is only a temporary mask. True happiness cannot be built on a foundation of pretense. Inner work, on the other hand, strengthens the foundation. When the mind is calm, even a simple life feels abundant. When the heart is healed, even small moments feel joyful. When our values guide us, we don't need unnecessary material validation to feel worthy. A peaceful inner foundation gives stability to everything else. It allows us to enjoy success without depending on it, to handle failure without collapsing, and to maintain optimism even during challenges. Sometimes people keep collecting more and more because they feel something missing inside. They think the next purchase, the next achievement, the next compliment will fill the emptiness. But the emptiness is not in their life. It is in their alignment. Without addressing the inner cracks, no amount of external decoration can create lasting happiness. The moment the excitement of something new fades, the old dissatisfaction resurfaces. This is why inner alignment is not just important, it is essential. When the inner foundation is strong, something magical happens. Even if the outer situation is imperfect, we remain stable. Even if the world is chaotic, we stay centered. Even if life becomes challenging, we handle it with grace. Our happiness no longer wavers because it is rooted in something deeper than circumstances. Decorating the outside is not wrong. Everyone enjoys comfort, beauty, and success. But these things should enhance life, not replace inner work. Without strengthening our inner world, External beauty becomes fragile. But when the foundation is solid, everything built upon it becomes meaningful, enjoyable, and deeply fulfilling. Unresolved emotions and inner restlessness create a kind of invisible weight that we carry everywhere, no matter how good our life appears on the outside. Even if we achieve everything we once dreamed of, the presence of unresolved inner conflict makes it impossible to fully enjoy what we have. It's like having a beautiful garden with hidden weeds beneath the soil. Everything may look fine for a while, but eventually those weeds begin to surface, disrupting the beauty. The same happens with our emotions. When they are left unprocessed, unspoken, or unhealed, they slowly take away our happiness, no matter how comfortable our outer life becomes. Often, we try to distract ourselves from emotional discomfort by pursuing things outside: work, relationships, entertainment, or material pleasures. These temporary boosts may help for a moment, but they don't address the real issue. Restlessness is not a problem created by the outside world. It's created by an inner world that has not been given the time, attention, or care it deserves. Emotions like hurt, fear, resentment, regret, jealousy, and self-doubt don't disappear simply because we ignore them. They settle deep within us, creating tension that eventually affects our decisions, relationships, and overall peace. Many people carry emotional baggage without even realizing it. Maybe they were misunderstood, betrayed, or disappointed at some point, and instead of processing the pain, they buried it. Over time, this buried pain becomes a lens through which they see life. Small triggers create big reactions. Minor disagreements feel overwhelming. Simple tasks become stressful. The root, however, is not the situation. It is the unresolved emotion that the situation awakens. Living with such emotional weight is exhausting and silently drains our happiness every single day. Inner restlessness also creates a constant sense of something is missing. Even when everything is going well, the mind keeps running, worrying, imagining problems, or replaying past events. This restless mind cannot appreciate joy, cannot rest in peace, and cannot feel satisfied. It keeps searching for solutions in the outside world while the real solution lies within. Happiness becomes difficult not because life is bad, but because the mind is unsettled. When emotions are not understood or expressed, the heart becomes heavy. And when the heart is heavy, nothing feels fulfilling. Even the most beautiful experiences feel dull because the inner turbulence overshadows the brightness. This is why people with plenty of comforts can still feel unhappy, because comfort cannot replace inner clarity. Peace does not come from a beautiful environment, it comes from a resolved heart. Healing unresolved emotions requires honesty. It means sitting with our feelings instead of running from them. It means acknowledging the hurt, forgiving where necessary, letting go of old memories, and allowing ourselves to release the heaviness we've held onto for too long. This is not easy, but it is freeing. Once the emotional burden is removed, happiness flows naturally. because the inner space becomes clean and open again. Inner restlessness fades when the mind is allowed to slow down, breathe, and reconnect with itself. When we give ourselves time to reflect, introspect, and understand our patterns, we regain control over our emotional life. And once the inner world becomes peaceful, even small moments begin to shine brightly. Happiness becomes accessible, sustainable, and deeply meaningful because it is no longer blocked by unprocessed emotions. Ultimately, the world outside may change, but the emotions we carry shape how we experience everything. When we free ourselves from unresolved feelings and inner restlessness, we open the door to a kind of happiness that is stable, gentle, and truly satisfying. Emotional clarity, peace, and balance form the inner framework that allows us to experience true satisfaction in life. Without them, even the most beautiful achievements feel incomplete. Many people assume happiness comes from acquiring things: money, love, success, recognition. But these external elements can only enhance life when the internal world is stable enough to receive them. When we lack clarity, our decisions become confusing. When we lack peace, our mind becomes restless. When we lack balance, even small challenges feel overwhelming. All of this directly impacts our ability to feel satisfied with anything we achieve. Emotional clarity means understanding what we feel and why we feel it. Many people move through life reacting rather than responding because they never pause to understand their inner emotions. They push away discomfort, hide their fears, or suppress their sadness. But suppressed emotions do not disappear, they accumulate, and eventually they shape the way we see ourselves and the world. When we don't understand our inner landscape, we often make choices that go against our values, leaving us feeling unfulfilled. But when we are emotionally clear, even difficult situations become easier to navigate because we know our needs, our boundaries, and our truth. Peace is another essential component. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of a stable inner state that does not get easily shaken. Life will always present challenges, unexpected events, misunderstandings, losses, disappointments. But a peaceful mind remains centered, not because it has all the answers, but because it has learned to trust the process. When peace is missing, the mind constantly jumps from worry to worry. Simple tasks feel heavy, relationships feel complicated, and even joyful moments are overshadowed by anxiety. But when peace is present, life feels smoother, more rhythmic, and more enjoyable regardless of circumstances. Balance ties everything together. Balance means knowing when to push and when to pause, when to speak and when to stay quiet, when to give and when to protect your energy. Many people lose their happiness not because life is unfair, but because they live in extremes, overthinking too much, working too much, caring too much, or trying too hard to please others. This imbalance exhausts the heart and drains the mind. But balance helps us create healthy rhythms in life. It allows us to stay calm without becoming passive, ambitious without becoming greedy, loving without losing ourselves. When emotional clarity, peace, and balance are missing, happiness becomes fragile. It breaks easily under pressure. One harsh word, one setback, one failure, or one misunderstanding can destroy our sense of joy. This fragility happens because our happiness depends entirely on external factors. But when our inner world is steady, happiness becomes stronger, more reliable, and less dependent on situations. We begin to enjoy the present moment instead of constantly chasing the future. We start appreciating small joys instead of waiting for big events. We respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Emotional clarity allows us to make choices that align with our inner truth. Peace helps us remain grounded despite external chaos. Balance keeps our life flowing without burnout or frustration. When these three come together, satisfaction becomes natural, not something to chase, but something we feel effortlessly. We begin to understand that happiness is not found in what we have, but in how we experience what we have. And that experience depends entirely on the quality of our inner world. Ultimately, these inner qualities create a space within us that is open, calm, and receptive. In that space, happiness does not have to be forced. It simply grows when we expect relationships, comforts, or external achievements to fill an unhealed inner space. We unknowingly place an impossible burden on the people and things around us. No matter how loving someone is or how successful we become, nothing on the outside can heal what is unresolved on the inside. When the heart carries past pain, insecurities, or emotional gaps, even the most beautiful experiences feel incomplete. We may be surrounded by support, yet still feel lonely. Blessed with opportunities, yet still feel unsatisfied, or love deeply, yet still feel empty. This happens because the emptiness is not in life. It is in the part of us that still needs healing. Many people enter relationships with unhealed wounds, hoping that affection will make them disappear. While love can comfort and support, it cannot erase internal turbulence. Sooner or later, the unhealed parts start surfacing. Anger over small things, fear of losing someone, jealousy, overdependence, or emotional withdrawal. None of these reactions are because the relationship is wrong. They are often reflections of wounds we never faced. The partner becomes a mirror for our inner state. Even the most loving person cannot fill a void created by old pain or unmet emotional needs. Healing is an inward journey, not a gift someone can hand us. The same happens with material comforts. A new home, new gadgets, new clothes, or new luxuries may bring temporary pleasure, but they cannot resolve inner confusion or sadness. Comfort can soothe the body, but it cannot silence a restless mind. A soft bed cannot fix sleeplessness born from overthinking. A beautiful house cannot create peace if the heart is filled with unresolved conflict. A fancy lifestyle cannot generate self worth if insecurity still lives within us. This is why many people keep upgrading their surroundings but still feel a quiet heaviness. Without healing, comfort loses its true value. Success also becomes empty when inner wounds remain unattended. Achievements might impress others, but they cannot repair our emotional world. Many successful individuals feel unfulfilled because their accomplishments speak loudly, but their hearts speak softly of unresolved hurt. They reach goals yet feel no joy in reaching them. They receive praise yet feel undeserving of it. They try to outrun their pain with ambition, but pain travels faster than success. Healing is the only way to turn achievement into happiness. When we rely solely on external sources to fill internal gaps, we unintentionally create pressure on relationships, on situations, and on ourselves. We look for perfection outside because we haven't found peace inside. This makes us sensitive, reactive, and easily disappointed. We expect others to understand emotions we never expressed, to soothe pains we never acknowledged, to fix problems we never explored. This imbalance strains relationships and drains our happiness. But when we begin healing from within, something beautiful happens. Love feels deeper because it is no longer mixed with fear. Comfort feels enjoyable because it is no longer used as an escape. Success feels meaningful because it is no longer a desperate search for validation. A healed heart experiences the world differently. It receives joy without resisting it, gives love without doubting it, and enjoys life without depending on it. Healing brings emotional freedom. It gives us space to breathe, to grow, and to experience life with clarity and calmness. When the inner emptiness is filled with understanding, acceptance, and self-awareness, we stop expecting the world to complete us. We feel whole within ourselves, and from that wholeness, true happiness arises. Steady, peaceful, and deeply fulfilling. When happiness comes from a state of internal stability rather than external success, life becomes far more peaceful and meaningful. External success is unpredictable. It rises and falls, appears and disappears, and depends on many factors beyond our control. But inner stability is something we can cultivate, protect, and strengthen. When we build our happiness on internal foundations, we stop living at the mercy of circumstances. We stop allowing every small problem to shake us. We stop feeling threatened by temporary failures. Instead, we develop a calm, grounded strength that stays with us no matter what is happening around us. Many people chase happiness through achievements, a better career, more income, a perfect relationship, a stronger social image. These achievements may bring excitement, but excitement is not the same as happiness. Excitement comes quickly and fades quickly. Happiness that comes from inner stability lasts much longer. It is not intense or dramatic. It is quiet, deep and consistent. It is the kind of happiness that helps you wake up with peace instead of worry. Go through the day without emotional chaos and sleep with a sense of calm rather than mental noise. Internal stability means the mind is no longer overly reactive. Instead of being pulled in every direction by circumstances, the heart holds its center. When someone criticizes us, we don't break. When someone praises us, we don't lose ourselves in the high. When plans fail, we don't collapse. When life shifts direction, we adjust with grace. This is the power of internal stability. It frees us from depending on outcomes for emotional balance. Happiness that depends on success is fragile because success itself is unstable. You may work hard and still face failure. You may give your best and still face disappointment. You may love sincerely and still experience misunderstandings. When happiness is tied to these changing elements, it constantly fluctuates. One good moment makes you feel high. One bad moment makes you feel low. This emotional roller coaster prevents us from experiencing real peace. But internal stability creates a steady emotional climate. It teaches us to enjoy good moments without clinging to them and handle difficult moments without drowning in them. It gives us the strength to stay hopeful during struggles and grateful during successes. It allows us to feel joy from within instead of depending on conditions to be perfect. A stable inner world also improves the choices we make. Decisions are no longer driven by fear, insecurity, or pressure. They are guided by clarity. When the mind is stable, it becomes easier to see what truly matters. We stop comparing ourselves with others. We stop chasing things that exhaust us. We stop trying to meet unrealistic expectations. Instead, we focus on what genuinely brings meaning to our life. Internal stability also deepens relationships. When we are emotionally steady, we communicate better, understand others more clearly, and react with maturity rather than impulse. We don't expect others to carry the load of our happiness. This creates healthier bonds where love is freely given, not demanded, where connection is warm, not suffocating, where care is gentle, not controlling. Most importantly, internal stability helps us enjoy the present moment. A restless mind lives either in the past or the future. A stable mind lives in the now. It sees beauty in small things, peace in simple moments, and joy in everyday experiences. It becomes easier to laugh, easier to breathe, easier to live. When happiness comes from within, the world becomes lighter. Success becomes sweeter, failures become teachers, and life becomes a journey of growth rather than a battle of survival. Inner stability transforms happiness from a fleeting visitor into a permanent companion. When our inner world is in alignment, challenges no longer have the power to shake us as easily. Life will always bring difficulties, unexpected changes, setbacks, failures, conflicts, or losses. These challenges are inevitable, and they do not disappear for anyone. What changes, however, is how we respond to them. When our inner state is strong, calm, and aligned, we no longer react impulsively or with panic. Instead, we respond thoughtfully and intentionally. This ability to remain grounded amid turbulence is one of the greatest benefits of inner alignment, and it forms the foundation of lasting happiness. Many people face challenges with resistance or fear, which amplifies the difficulty. A small problem can feel insurmountable because the mind and emotions are already unsettled. When we are internally fragmented, our values conflicting with our actions, our thoughts chaotic, our emotions unprocessed, life's challenges hit us harder. One disappointment can spiral into weeks of worry. One disagreement can lead to days of resentment. The instability within magnifies the difficulty of external circumstances. The truth is not that the challenge itself is too big, but that our inner world lacks the strength to meet it with calmness. Inner alignment creates an internal anchor. When our mind, heart, and actions are in harmony, we develop resilience, the ability to withstand difficulty without losing our balance. Challenges no longer feel like personal attacks or insurmountable obstacles. Instead, they become opportunities to grow, to learn, and to strengthen our character. The same problem that would have caused distress before now becomes a lesson, a test, or even a stepping stone. This does not mean that difficulties stop affecting us, but their impact becomes manageable because our inner world remains steady. Aligned individuals also approach challenges with clarity rather than fear. When the mind is cluttered or anxious, it overestimates problems and underestimates solutions. But when inner alignment is present, we can observe the situation objectively, assess our options, and take deliberate steps. This clarity allows us to act effectively rather than react blindly. We no longer waste energy on overthinking or negative emotions, and we no longer create additional suffering for ourselves through impulsive responses. Another benefit of inner alignment during challenges is emotional balance. Life often tests us emotionally through loss, disappointment, frustration, or conflict. A misaligned inner world magnifies these emotions, causing overreactions, self-doubt, or prolonged sadness. Alignment, however, helps regulate emotional responses. We still feel the pain, but it does not consume us. We can acknowledge emotions, process them, and continue moving forward. This emotional steadiness ensures that happiness is not entirely dependent on circumstances. It persists even when life is difficult. Aligned individuals also maintain perspective. Challenges are part of life, not the entirety of life. When the inner world is strong, one problem does not define the whole day, week, or life. We are able to see beyond immediate difficulties and recognize the bigger picture. This perspective reduces stress, promotes problem solving, and helps maintain optimism even in tough times. Resilience and perspective together allow us to face challenges with courage rather than anxiety. Finally, inner alignment creates a ripple effect. When we remain steady amid difficulties, our calmness influences those around us. We become a source of strength for family, friends, and colleagues. This not only improves our relationships, but also reinforces our own emotional stability, creating a positive cycle that strengthens happiness further. Ultimately, challenges are unavoidable, but inner alignment ensures that they do not dominate our lives. When our mind, heart, and actions are in harmony, difficulties no longer dictate our happiness. Instead, we navigate them with resilience, clarity, and balance, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth and turning life into a journey that is rich, steady, and deeply fulfilling.